These cameras are magic, aren't they? Hi, welcome, Magnus here. So I'm upgrading my 5D Mark IV to the Canon EOS R5. Why am I doing that when I'm mostly doing video? I could have just as easily skipped that upgrade and gone to the A7S III, right? Bought an adapter, which I'm going to need anyway with my EF glass, and I could have just gone with Sony. So why Canon? Apart from the obvious reasons is that I want a hybrid situation, stuff like that, one would think. But I'm also feeling like I don't have any limits with the R5. Now stick around, I'll get right into that and why I think that that's the case. So first, let me hit you off with a couple of things that I've got going on right now, in the Canon world at least. First off, I still haven't received my R5, so I'm making these videos until I get a chance to test the R5, but my order is still pending. Now, what I saw from a couple of rumors website is that Amazon will be shipping the camera in like mid-August through early September. So it seems like they're expecting some shipments to come in a short amount of time. And I've heard that within a couple of weeks, at least we're going to get some more cameras in. Now that's great for Canon and great for those who are waiting for this camera. But Canon's also had some difficulties recently. Recently in the news, at least as of this recording, this will probably go up tomorrow or Saturday, but I'm hoping it goes up Friday. But recently it's been reported that Canon was hacked, and it's a ransomware type of hack. So basically, to break it down, hackers hacked into Canon systems, stole a bunch of information, and now they've got it in the dark web, say, and they said that they'll release it unless Canon pays them. So right now it's pretty much confirmed. Their websites like Canon USA has been down for a while, and a couple of other Canon websites. So it's obviously this is legitimate. However, my question is, what do you do in that type of situation? I mean, I definitely feel bad for Canon in this standpoint, because it's like if they don't pay, a lot of their information could leak, and it's not stuff that they're kind of purposely leaking. This could be a lot of sensitive information that could lead to either future cameras or just internal who knows what that's going on there. So from my standpoint, I've seen that companies in the past have actually paid the ransomware to not have this happen to them. So if companies continue to do that, what's to stop hackers from doing it again and again and again? It's almost kind of like rocking a hard place. And if you resist, then your info's out there. I really don't know what you would do in that type of situation, especially if you have that company. So the most important thing is get your security up, because it's no joke. That's kind of sad and tragic. Now, I've also seen a bunch of overheating reports online, as well as reports that, hey, the Canon, if you actually record to an Atomos Ninja, for example, which lets you record from HDMI through external sources, it's a monitor that has an SSD built in that lets you record into that SSD in either ProRes RAW or ProRes. And that's great if your camera supports ProRes RAW, but if not, and you're still getting a high quality, let's say 10-bit 422 signal like you're getting out of the EOS R5, then that means you'll get great quality external recording. Now, tests that I've seen that have used the camera with like a dummy battery, so battery doesn't heat up, and no SD card or memory card in the camera, so that doesn't heat up, the R5 has been able to record for a very long time to the Atomos Ninja with no problems in like 4K HQ and a higher frame rate 4K as well. So that in itself is great news. However, for those that want that, have to carry around this Atomos Ninja and record off of that to make it happen. But at least for like long-standing, like if you're recording an interview and you want the highest possible quality that you can get, you can record externally 4K up to 60 frames per second HQ on the R5 and not have to worry about overheating, so, which is great. But again, you're going to need to buy that. You already spent money on that camera. You're going to need to buy extra hardware. Or many would say, why do that when you don't have an issue with the Sony cameras? Makes sense, right? Well, for me, in particular, it doesn't make sense. And I'm going to tell you that I'm probably never going to do that. I don't need that type of form. If I'm going to record long form, thankfully, I have enough cameras that can record for that type of purpose. So I don't consider the R5 a camera that I'd use for that. But the R5, to me, is a camera that I can use for many different occasions. I'm not worried about overheating at all for what I'm going to need it for. I will be able to record 4K with no worry, but my main concern is getting high quality footage and having the physical features that I've always wanted a camera and using the full frame. So the R5 is a camera that does seem to have its limitations. But from what I'm going to use it for, and I'm not going to get an Atomos, I'll be totally honest. It's a camera that I'm going to use for, of course, stills, but also plenty for video. And according to the specs that it does have, that it does come with, I will be able to record exactly what I want without having to worry about overheating at all. And that's what I really want to test. I mean, I'll put it to the test before I can tell you why I think the camera will work just fine for me without overheating. I can't assume that without the camera, but what I'm planning, I think I can pull it off. And I've got a couple of tests planned ahead, but why, right? Why? I mean, Canon has been hit with so many limitations in the past, but yet I still stick with them. And it's basically because I consider image more important than a lot of other features that we're spoiled with today's hybrid cameras. I mean, they come with a lot. Image stabilization, flip screens, incredible autofocus, full frame recording, high resolutions. I mean, so many of these nice little features, microphone and headphone and like so many of these things that a lot of these cameras do come with. We're kind of getting distracted with specs and forgetting about what really makes a camera, or at least a camera to me. And for me, what matters most is the image and what I can do with that image. And I know that 4K HQ is a lot sharper than the standard 4K in the camera. But again, I haven't tested it from the sense of what can I get out of that image. So here are a few comments to explain to you my history with the Canon camera line and what I'm talking about. My first DSLR that can film video was the Canon 6D. When filming with this camera, I always felt that I had finally reached the status of filming where I can make everything I record look cinematic. It made me feel like I now have something truly professional. Like the straps and limits were taken off from a filmmaking perspective. I had been used to filming with camcorders for most of my video making career, so the DSLR craze didn't make sense to me until I picked up this Canon camera. And now, finally, I felt like what I can make was limitless. My next Canon DSLR was the 5D Mark IV. I had already purchased another brand's APS-C camera that had great features, but when I purchased the 5D, I once again felt like filming was an art, not based on your equipment, but what you do with it. Many cameras come with different features, but it's the image that the camera produces that really tells me if it's all worth it. The 5D Mark IV was excellent for giving me just that. It has been and is an excellent go-to camera when I need to hit record and just get the look I desired. It even served as my main camera for a short film project that I recently completed. The camera was laughed at by many because of its limits, but there's no camera that I own that I can grab as often as the 5D to do it all. Great pictures, excellent video, making my work limitless. What will the R5 do? So far from what I know, like my previous cameras, there's a lot that it can't do, but there's a lot that it can. And when I finally get it in my hands eventually, I will once again make sure that I continue to capture moments, ideas, stories, and events understanding the camera's limits while making what I create with the camera feel limitless. Well, that's it. That's kind of what I wanted to say from that end. And that's how I feel. So if you agree or disagree, that's fine. But so far, I've been pleased with what I've been able to get, regardless of the limitations, because I feel that what I'm able to do with these cameras has made my creativity limitless. It's like almost a tagline, right? So recently, I've also gotten a lot of comments with people just talking about either overheating or the A7S III being the best camera in the world or the R5 being the best camera in the world, and it's still great. It's all good. I'm glad that you have your opinions. I definitely have mine. I think all of these cameras are incredible, but you need to really realize what you need the camera for and then go for that. That's all I got to say about that. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, like, share, and you can definitely make my day when you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys next time.